Hi everybody, I'm Tara from Crooked Row, and today we actually have a little bit of disappointing news. We have gone through the holidays, we came out into the garden today, and we have discovered we've never dealt with any kind of pests with our trees before, but we actually have a pest. We believe it's a squirrel. It could be a vole, but I don't think it is. I think it's a squirrel, or multiples, because we do have a lot of fruit trees planted, and you all followed along when we planted these trees, and we actually spent the summer trying to get water to these trees because they were not on any kind of drip. So this is kind of disappointing. Let me show you what we're dealing with, and then I'll explain what we think that we're going to do. Okay, so this is a Reliance peach, and as you can see, the bark is gone. It's gone all the way around. I mean, and so if you know anything about trees, they utilize what's right underneath the bark to actually transport water to the upper portions of the tree. And if it doesn't have that bark on it, these upper portions are not going to be able to get any water. So clearly the problem is severe. So as we have walked through the garden, we have realized that every single apple tree has been eaten. And so if there is a little bit of bark, if it's not all the way around the tree, you can salvage the tree because it can still get the water up through that. Something has occurred that's called girding, which means there's an actual circle around the trunk so that, again, that water and nutrients can't get up to the rest of the tree. Then your tree's done. And so as you can see, this tree right here is from all sides, has it. It has been eaten on all sides. So there's probably not much we can do about that. I mean, we can let it go, and we might let it go this year and just kind of see what happens. It's trees. Let me look for a tree really quickly and show you what I'm talking about where maybe you can salvage one. Here we go. Hi. What you doing, big girl? Huh? Hi, sweet girl. Okay. So here's a tree right next to our dairy cow's pen, and you can see, okay. So you can see where it's been nipped, but it's not all the way around. So we're actually going to locate all the trees that either have nothing or have been nipped, and we're going to create collars for them to protect them so that they can't get anything else this season. Okay, so a couple of things. You know, when you're a homesteader, the one thing that you have to be careful of is spending an exorbitant amount of money. And so one thing that we try to do is utilize all of the items that we have here. And so we had a neighbor that moved, and they gave us a bunch of things that people would think would be junk, but it's actually not. And so, you know, the little, they're the rounded things that you put at the end of gutters. I don't even know what those are called. Like, they kind of extend the flow out so that you can get the flow away from your home. Well, we were given one of those, and so we're going to utilize that and maybe some chicken wire and whatever else we can come up with to create collars, so Chris and I can actually protect the rest of these trees, because this is actually substantial losses. So it looks like every single apple tree is gone. So you're looking at definitely 20 apple trees are gone, and it looks like we have about 5 peach trees that are gone. So this is extremely disappointing, because we have put a lot of work and a lot of money into these. So we have learned our lesson. We will be protecting all of our trees from here on out right off the bat. So we're gonna go through the barnyard looking for things that we can utilize for collars. So let's go. Okay, so we have run out of the other stuff. So Chris has now cut small pieces of chicken wire from the roll that we utilize, and he's just going to create a little collar to go around. Now those are pretty small. Honey, what are those? 12 inches maybe? Yeah. The collar?
Yeah.
So Chris is going to cut those to size. Have we found that squirrels are eating our fruit trees, the trunks of our fruit trees, but we've also found that they are digging up our garlic, and we just found our garlic scattered all over the garden. So I'm going to take these and I'm going to replant these here in this bed and hope for the best. So while Chris is cutting more collars, I'm going to go ahead and do this. Okay guys, so we have collared our trees. A couple things that I think that people need to think about is what kind of animal. Like if you're struggling with voles, voles will dig underground. And so Chris on some of the trees was actually getting some of that chicken wire underneath the ground. And so you might have to dig a little ways. Again, it's going to depend on your root systems of your trees. It's going to depend on what kind of animal you're dealing with. If you have an animal that'll dig, you could also try to, so if this is the tree, you could put chicken wire flat on the ground around the tree. So like you would cut a square of it and then, you know, kind of slip it around the base of the tree so that nothing will dig. And so, but a vole is so small, I even wonder if it would get through chicken wire. You might have to use hardwire cloth if you're dealing with that extreme of something, would you say?
Yeah.
So we're pretty sure ours is the squirrels. Like we've seen the squirrels up in the trees, and so we would love to be able to coexist with them. So that's why we're just trying to protect the trees first before we go to any other means. But trees, rabbits are another big one. And we have tons of rabbits here, and so there's a lot of different ways that you can do this. Right now we are only I know that there are tree protectors and things that you can buy, but they're like $10 a protector, and when you have 40 fruit trees, that is not feasible for just a protector. So this is just a really good way to devise, you know, things that you might have around the farm or homestead. I mean, I think most people have hardware cloth or chicken wire. Oh, so, yeah. And I kind of feel like, I mean, even though we did use the other, what was that, a gutter? And that makes a really good easy fix because you just slit it and slip it around. I kind of, do you feel like the chicken wire ones are maybe a little better?
Yeah, I think they're definitely more solid. But yeah,
and more like, I don't know, like I feel like animals would be more deterred from that than the other ones. Because well, I don't know. We could do what ifs all day long. But we also had the we found all of the garlic that and we actually found a couple of the bulbs that they were chewing into. We've never had a rabbit do that. I think it was squirrels, don't you? Yeah. So we are actually dealing with quite a squirrel problem right now, and it might end up in their eradication.
Yeah, when you might have to protect your garden.
Yeah, it is what it is. We also wanted to show you like our mistakes. We like to, these are expensive trees. I mean, we've spent a ton of money, time, effort, fertilizing, watering schedules, all sorts of stuff to just lose it to an animal, you know, who's just gonna move right on to the next tree. And so I feel like, you know, especially with fruit trees and perennials, we spend a lot of money on those things. And so if you can learn from our mistakes, I would cover any young trees. Because they love the young saplings, don't they? And they can real easily get into that bark. They seem to have not bothered our bigger trees. So I would just highly suggest that even if you don't have a problem right now, the issue is that once you have a problem, your trees are ruined. So if you have saplings especially, or even young trees, cover them. I mean, it's not worth losing them to something, and it's so quick.
It is.
I mean, we've been out in the garden, and like it feels like it wasn't overnight, but it was a few weeks, and like it was just like boom, they were all gone. So a lot of time, money wasted. Hopefully you can learn from our mistakes and go ahead and cover your trees. Even if you don't have a problem, cover those trees.
Yes.
And
save yourself a lot of money and a lot of heartache.
Yes. And it does take a little bit of time to go ahead and do these things, but it's worth it in the end. So, and the time investment is not just the time that you've put into your trees and watering and all of that. The time investment is also how old are your trees. And so now you've lost years. You can always replace a tree, but you can't replace the time. So that is beyond frustrating. I am very frustrated. And then our garlic too. So hopefully we have salvaged the garlic and thankfully we saw them.
Yes.
And can replant them. I hope they root and everything's fine, but everything's not always perfect on the homestead, so we always want to share what we're going through. And two, feel free if you know great fixes or things that have worked for you. We love to hear what other people are doing on their homesteads. It's very encouraging for us. So but we'll all go through all this stuff together, and we'll homestead together. So remember, if we can collar and save our trees, anybody can. Thanks. Bye.